Good morning and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you all are doing good, my dear friends. Today is the 3rd March 2020. Day is Tuesday. Before we move on, dear friends, I have a good news for you that at present, a 70% discount is available on all our pen drive and tablet courses. This is big holy sale that is going on. The last date for this big holy sale is 11th March, so make the most out of it. All information pertaining to pen drive and Android courses is available on studyiq.com. In case if you have any question, queries, doubts, then you can give us a call on the numbers that you can see on your screen, dear friends. The most important article of the day is pushing the wrong energy buttons. We are going to talk about energy. We are going to talk about so many points here. I'm going to add on things to this article, and a very important article. But before that, let me tell you, to download the PDF of today's lecture, you have two sources that you can see on your screen. One is my FB page, and the second is my Telegram channel. You can follow me on FB. You can join my Telegram channel. And dear friends, it's a request to all of you that please take it very seriously. Please make sure that you share this lecture with other students. I want this series to grow, right? I want this series to get bigger. And without your support, of course, it cannot get bigger. And this is not my series. This is our series. And this is something that I genuinely believe. There are so many students out there. They have in the past when I used to take the Hindu analysis, and I have their messages, and that's the reason why I'm saying this thing, that they have benefited from this series, and I'm sure you too will benefit from this series. And there are so many students out there, they are not aware about the quality of this series and the things that we discuss in this Hindu analysis in English. So please, dear friends, I heartily request you to share this lecture. And if you have learned something from today's discussion, do hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So let's start our discussion on pushing the wrong energy button. This one is about nuclear power plants. Do we really need that many nuclear power plants? This is a very important question that we have to ask ourselves. But before that, let's go through the nature of our economy. You'd be aware about this thing that a few days ago, this USTR, that is United States Trade Representative, it has declared India as a developed country. Now, are we really a developed nation? No, we are not. The reason is, the basic reason, there are so many reasons, like when can you call a country a developed nation? If we go through the definition that has been given by APJ Abdul Kalam sir, then Abdul Kalam sir says that a country should be economically strong. So economically strong, scientifically progressive, science and tech, you can take both under this thing. Politically as well stable. We are politically stable, no doubt. Economically, we are getting this slowly. Science and tech, again, there are positives and negatives, right? There are so many things that we are not able to do here. Then one of the most important thing, he said, security-wise. No, we are not. If you go through the definition, or we cannot say that India is a self-reliant country when it comes to security. In terms of economy, poverty, right? The poorest of the poor of the world, and the biggest chunk. When I say chunk, I'm talking about the quantity, right? You find in India. So I don't know why USTR means. There are reasons behind it. Like US does not want to give India concessions. So that is the main reason. USA wants to throw more items in our market. So these are the reasons why it has declared India a developed country. But India is not a developed country. India is a developing nation, right? So these are a few basic things. Now, what is the nature of a developing country? A developing nation is energy hungry because there are so many towns, there are so many cities, there are so many villages that you want to develop, factories, you want to create factories, you want to create schools, you want to create hospitals, you want to create business complex and so many things. You want to create factories at your village level. For that as well, you require one thing that you need 24/7, and that is electricity. Now, there are various different sources, for having 24/7 electricity. We have renewable as well as conventional or non-renewable sources. In our country, coal is the biggest contributor, right? Thermal power plants. We get most of our electricity from thermal power plants. Good thing about thermal power plants is that 24 by 7 constant supply of electricity is possible through coal, this thermal power plants. But the bad thing about it is, of course, pollution. Few days ago, Chief Justice of India, and I'm using his words, or recently what CJI said that if it would be in his hands, right, then he would shut down all thermal power plants of our country. And the main reason is that he said that you cannot breathe properly in a city in which you have a thermal power plant, and he is right as well. So of course, a country like India, and the way things are going on, this climate change is going on, so we are exploring various different sources through which we can produce clean energy. We have solar parks, we have wind farms. Nuclear energy is again a very important and a very crucial option. But we have to ask this question. The question that we started our discussion with is that, do we really need that many nuclear power plants, particularly from foreign nations? So we are going to, these are a few basic things that you should be aware about. So now let's crack on with our discussion, right? So pushing the wrong energy button. This article is about a recent statement from Prime Minister Modi and President Trump. Of course, you know that Mr. Trump was here in our country. He was here for 36 hours, and we had this Namaste Trump program and so many things. So basically, both these leaders, they have encouraged Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited and Westinghouse Electric Company. This Westinghouse is an American company. So these two leaders, they have encouraged that these two companies should go ahead with this techno-commercial offer for the construction of 6 nuclear reactors in India at the earliest date. This 6 reactors we are going to set up in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Now, for a very long period of time, since 2008, these two companies have been, these two countries as well as companies, they have engaged with each other to create this 6 nuclear reactors. First, they were supposed to be created in Gujarat, but then it was shifted to Andhra Pradesh. A few years ago, I think it was in 2018, when the Chief Minister of Gujarat, Vijay Rupani, clearly said that he will not allow, or these reactors will, means he will not allow this nuclear deal, or this will not take place in his state because of the risks that are associated with it. So if we go in the background of these two companies, or particularly Westinghouse, or this deal, right, then we find that things started after this nuclear agreement between India and USA. And Westinghouse was having a thorough discussion with India, or Nuclear Power Corporation of India, NPCIL. And then later on in 2011, we saw this Fukushima incident, this one, right, that you can see on your screen. Fukushima is basically 2011 disaster. After this earthquake, there was a tsunami, and this tsunami destroyed this parts of this Fukushima power plant of Japan. Radioactive material got leaked, and it entered the water bodies, and it is said that it will take somewhere around $600 billion to clean up all the stuff, and the damage that has been caused by it is huge as well. There are experts, and there is argument that Fukushima was a very old power plant. The technology that was used here was quite old. It was not the latest one, and the latest one that we are going to have from this Washington is going to be this Westinghouse. Westinghouse is going to be the latest technology, so safety features are going to be latest. But still, after 2011 Fukushima incident created a sort of, it created that environment where so many countries decided to stay away from this nuclear reactors. Like Germany has created a deadline that in few years time it will shut down all its nuclear reactors, and it is also said that one of the main reason is that Germany has run out of its uranium stock, and this is the reason why Germany is getting rid of it. But this is a fact that after 2011, after this Fukushima disaster, things have changed, right? And safety has become very important. There was this incident, I think it was in late 80s, I can't remember the exact year, but it's one of the biggest incident in the world. It's Chernobyl. It's in Ukraine. If you type Chernobyl, then you will find so many things, videos and so many things on the internet is available. So, because of serious concerns about cost and safety, the two organizations should have been told to abandon, not finalize. This article is saying that we should not go ahead with this deal, because if we look at cost-benefit analysis, then it's not going to help our country. Now, electricity from American reactors would be more expensive than wind or wind farm or solar park. For example, when it comes to safety, first of all, let's talk about safety and some vested interest. Like Westinghouse is unable to guarantee, indirectly what it is saying, that it is not going to take the responsibility of safety of the reactors which will be constructed or manufactured by this Westinghouse, right? It itself is not able to guarantee. So on one side, this argument is going on that Fukushima was an older plant or older technology. This one is going to be the latest, but they are not ready to take thorough responsibility. Point number one. Point number two, why USA is pushing it? Because presidential elections are not that far, and you know how things work in USA. Lobbying is something that is legal. So this nuclear reactor vendors, they have lobbied US president to push for it, and it will earn brownie points for Mr. President in elections. So this will be our point number two. This is point number one. Point number two. Point number three. Right, this person that you can see on your screen, he is a son-in-law of Mr. Trump, and he was here in India as well. So basically, if you go through the history of this Westinghouse, then you find that he is involved in this company, right? So it will bring profits to someone who is relative of Mr. Trump. And this 6 reactors, now if we talk about cost, then 6 reactors will cost 6 lakh crore rupees, and the first year tariff for electricity will be 25 rupees per unit. Compare this with solar, right? It is just 3 rupees per unit. Wall Street firm Lazard has said that 10 years ago the price of solar or the price in solar or renewable sources was 70-90% more, but now it has dropped that much, and now we are at 3 rupees per unit, and in few years it's going to drop further. So there is no point, to go ahead with this 25 rupees per unit and spending this 6 lakh crore rupees after it, isn't it? And then we have this Coulomb. We have the example of Coulomb reactor 1 and 2 that we have in Tamil Nadu. Now I have a question for you. Can you give me the name of the country with the help of which we have built this Coulomb nuclear power plant? Name of the nation. And the second question is, out of our total energy basket, how much megawatt is contributed by nuclear sources? So you have to give me that fixed figure. So these two are important questions for you. Now, we are talking about this Coulomb. So Coulomb 1 and 2, if you analyze its history or its production capacity, then back in 2018-19, this reactors produced just a 32 and 38% of electricity they were designed to produce. So, they are not working at max, and we have spent huge amount of money as well after this Coulomb. So, judging by the things that we have discussed so far, it looks like we should go ahead with renewable sources. And if we want to go ahead with nuclear, there is nothing wrong with it. We can. but we have to have indigenous technology. We should promote our own technology, or think about it and work on it rather than relying on this expensive foreign suppliers. So I hope things are clear to you. We have discussed so many things, right? There are so many points that were not part of this article I have discussed with you guys. Now, before we move on to next item, I have a special request for all of you. The thing is, dear friends, yesterday, as you know, we have discussed thoroughly this whole deal of USA and Taliban that took place in Qatar, and we have analyzed two articles, remember, yesterday. So what I want you guys to do is, I want you guys to go through this article. Now this article, from my point of view, it's a very easy to read article, and the reason why I'm saying it is because we have covered all the points, right? Most of the points, I can say that most of the points we have covered when it comes to this deal between USA and Taliban, its future, history, present scenario, Afghanistan government angle. We have looked at it from India's point of view as well. So go through this article and do let me know how easy it was for you to understand this article. Keeping in mind our yesterday's discussion, just go through it and tell me how easy it was. This is the reason why, I have not explained this article. I have not taken this article on board. I have gone through it, but it is for my self-evaluation so that I can also judge myself, and if your feedback will come positive, then I would know that I am on a right track, isn't it? So I would really appreciate your feedback, dear friends, and I really want you guys to go through it at least once and let me know. So let's talk about bottom or mirage. This one is about economy. Now, the first line, gross domestic product for 3Q 4.7, what it is all about. Now, we have basically quarters, right, in our economy. So our financial year of our country starts from 1st April every year. So 1st April 2019, and it will end on 31st March. The current financial year will end on 31st March 2020. So these are your 12 months, right? So now you can divide this 12 months into 4 quarters. Quarter is basically 25% of anything. So you have this April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November and December, and then you have January, February and March. So these are your 12 months. Now this article is talking about this quarter, right? Third quarter. This is the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter and the fourth. So we have figures for this third quarter and they are not that great. Third quarter GDP expansion or growth 4.7%. Now remember what we have in October, November, December, Christmas time. Diwali was in October, I guess, isn't it? So 2 big festival seasons, and then as well gross domestic product is under 5% of this quarter. This is a sad thing. Now manufacturing, which contributes just under a fifth to gross value added, was the biggest drag, posting a 0.2% decline. Decline in manufacturing means factories are not having that much demand of products, right? They are not, if your demand is down, then you will not ask for raw material to your suppliers. Less people will get a full-time job. You were working, let's say 25 or 26 days per month in a factory, but now your factory is not producing 50% of items. So 50% roughly staff will not get that many hours to work. So it will hamper job creation and it will create joblessness. Then output at electricity and allied utility services also shrank 0.7%. Electricity, we were talking about it, isn't it? It's a very basic thing. So if the demand of electricity is dropping, that indicates that things are not that positive, right? You need more electricity when your factories, your schools, your hospitals, your other items, so your transportation, and because we are using electricity for for running our trains, right? If not that many EVs, then trains are of course running on, so many trains are running on electricity. So if people are not moving from one place to another when it comes to transportation, when that many factories are not working 24/7, so it indicates a lack of demand in the market. And then comes construction has not done that great. Construction is a very important industry. You need, means, just take construction industry here, and then for construction you need vehicles. So transport, automobile industry, spare part industry, garages, oil producing industries, right? Your petroleum products and so many things will depend on your transport industry. Transport industry is again dependent on, means, construction plays a very, or it is it plays a very important role in pulling or keeping this wheel of transportation in motion. Then your cement industry, steel, your migrants, those people who were working as a farm laborer, now they don't find that many things, that much opportunities in villages. So now they have moved in city area for search of a job, and the easiest that they can get is construction. And so if the construction sector is not doing that well, then they will go back to villages, isn't it? Because they cannot afford to stay in city. So these are just few examples. Like, if construction industry goes down, then it will take with it so many other industries as well, and sadly it's not doing that great. As far as agriculture and the three largest service sectors, including public administration and defense, concerned, things were a bit okay, right? I would say, like, government centered services growth was 9.7%, which is not bad. And if we check February month's manufacturing, then it is quite positive. In daily financial news analysis, we were talking about it, isn't it? It clocked somewhere around 55 or something. This IHS market in India manufacturing PMI that measures manufacturing activity. So in February it did well, but the thing is, we are concerned, these figures are about this October, November and December quarter, third quarter. And private final consumption expenditure, which is PFCE, that is private final consumption, means household expenses like purchasing toothpaste and oil, and there are so many other products that we purchase. So that is down as well. So retail things are not doing that great, and gross fixed capital formation is also not doing that great. So we cannot say that our economy is out of trouble at present, right? There are so many things through which economy is going, and it is also said that this coronavirus is going to, this few weeks ago, remember, if you are following daily financial news analysis, then you would be aware about this thing, that few weeks ago our finance minister Nirmala Sitharaman ji said that green shoots are visible, in economy. Basically, there are a few things that are moving, or they have started growing, but it is said that this coronavirus and its negative impact will destroy your green shoots. So that's a sad thing for our economy. Then we have one article, Fishy Claims About Cows, and this one is about the scientific utilization through research augmentation prime products from indigenous cow. It's called Sutra Pick India program. So this program is to promote research on Panchgavya. Panchgavya is your cow dung, urine, milk, curd and ghee. And there are people in our country, they strongly believe that Panchgavya, or these products of cow, can treat cancer and other diseases. Now, this is right or wrong? Of course, we cannot say it here. We have to do a thorough research on this thing, isn't it? There should be a proper scientific study on this thing, and only then we can say that, whether it is right or wrong. Now, if we go through Ayurveda, as per this article, cow urine was used in Ayurveda, but so was goat, camel and elephant urine. And Ayurveda practitioners, they used beers, wines, meat, and even that of cows. Meat of cow was also used for different medical preparations and conditions. Reference is the legacy of Vagbhata M.S. Valyathan, Valiathan. Now, cow milk was used or was much preferable compared to goat's milk, but goat's milk was also used to treat tuberculosis. So, if we go through Ayurveda, then we find that there are so many different animal products that we have used, or they are been used in Ayurveda. Now, one thing that we have to understand here is the statement from G.L. Krishna, a practicing Ayurvedic doctor from Bengaluru. He says that Ayurveda does not have a clear approach for the management of diseases that do not manifest symptoms like hypertension or blood pressure. Now, we have got this instrument to measure blood pressure like few centuries ago only. Like Ayurveda, we are saying that it is a thousands and thousands year old thing. So at that point of time, we were not having any sort of machines or tools to measure blood pressure. And as per this Ayurvedic doctor, he says that Ayurveda does not have a clear approach for the management of diseases that do not manifest symptoms. So this is the reason, as far as I know, right, what I have seen and observed in real life. I have few examples as well, where patients suffering from blood pressure, they were treated under Ayurveda, and later on they got this paralysis attack, right? Because the treatments, like, there is no proper treatment of blood pressure in Ayurveda, as far as I know. Right, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor. This is my personal experience, and it's not just one thing, but I have seen this in 5-6 cases. But still, I cannot say this is a scientific thing. There should be a proper scientific analysis of this thing, and that's what we want, right? That's what this article is talking about, that rather than glorify cow excreta and urine, a more scientifically valid expertise or enterprise, beg your pardon, would be to have a proper research on Ayurvedic text, right? What exactly Ayurvedic texts are talking about. We should have a scientific scrutiny of text, so that we know which are the products that Ayurveda used to use, and what are the things that are been explained there. And again, Dr. G.L. Krishna is I agree with him, that he says that a strict scientific attitude and a sympathy with traditional systems are both required. We cannot just ignore our traditional method, right? We cannot ignore saying that they are not scientific. We have to analyze it. We have to do all those experiments, scientific experiments on it, and then we can say whether it is good or bad, or utility is there or not, right? We cannot just go with our sympathy. Of course, it is part of our culture, so we cannot say that whatever is written in Ayurveda is right. Again, we have to go through a thorough scientific scrutiny, and only then we can say yes or no. So G.L. Krishna is right. A strict scientific attitude plus sympathy with traditional system are required, and that's what government should do. Moving on to last item, basically you have a safeguard undermined, the message from Delhi, and a tragic pattern of inaction. Now this one is written by Kapil Sibal. He's a big name in our country. He's a politician from Congress, and he's written one article. So of course you can understand that an article written by a politician will be you will find his views that will be supporting his party's ideology. So we are not going to analyze this article, this a tragic pattern of inaction. I will leave it on you guys. If you have extra time, then go through it. Yes, if an article is written by a union minister, it doesn't matter if a union minister is of BJP or Congress, right? Of course, it's going to be BJP because at present ruling party is BJP or NDA. But let's say you have one article written by a chief minister of Chhattisgarh, who is not from BJP. So that article becomes important because it's not by a politician, right? It's more by a person who is chief minister. So that article will become an official statement of Chhattisgarh. If an article is written by, let's say, S. Jaishankar, then that will become an official statement from government of India, So those sort of articles, we should go through it. And by this example, I'm also teaching you what are the things that you should take on board and what are the things that you should leave, because leaving as well, what not to read is also that much important. So we are going to talk about Delhi and the situation in Delhi, and this one is Justice Not Done. This article I got it from Indian Express newspaper. So this article is talking about Delhi High Court's stand, the way it has handled this riot. So this cases associated with riot is, it amounts to abdication of constitutional duty. It has not fulfilled or done its duty. I mean, we are talking about Delhi High Court here, and the reason is because this bench that was presided by Chief Justice of Delhi High Court D.N. Patel and Justice Hari Shankar, they have agreed with the centre's argument. Central government argued that the time was not conducive to file FIRs related to alleged hate speeches, and at present the priority should be given to ensure peace. Now, Delhi High Court has said okay with it, or it has said yes to this request of central government, or this argument of central government, that don't bother about FIRs for now. First of all, let us control the situation, and then later on we can file FIR against this hate speech and other things. Now, Article 21, which says that every judge is bound to enforce, provides no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to procedures established by law. So this means judges are duty bound. They have to uphold our constitution, right? And they take this oath as well, that they will do everything that is possible, all the knowledge that they have, and they will act rightly. You know, this roughly speaking, this is a sort of oath they take. Now, agreeing with central government is basically you are going against this constitutional bench, and we have examples as well. Now, the court apparently failed to consider this thing, that more than 40 have died and more than 200 have been injured. Business establishments, houses have been destroyed, and there should not be any sort of delay in filing an FIR. FIR should be registered as soon as possible, and enforcement of law does not wait for conducive timing. You cannot wait for a timing to file an FIR. You should do it ASAP. Now, if we go through our constitutional benches of Supreme Court, Kedarnath Singh versus State of Bihar, case 1962, and in this case, Supreme Court has said that a citizen has a right to say or write whatever he likes about the government or its measures, but your criticism, you can criticize, you can comment about it, you can write about it, you can speak about it, but it should not incite people to violence, right? If you are encouraging people to take arms and hit each other and kill someone, and this sort of things are anti-constitution, and they are not allowed. You cannot call it a protest. And the court also elaborated that it is only when the words written or spoken, etc., which have the pernicious tendency or intention of creating public disorder or disturbances of law and order, that the law steps in to prevent such activities in the interest of public order. We have this Lalita Kumari versus Government of UP 2013 case, where registration of FIR is mandatory under section 154 of the code. And this is something that Delhi High Court has ignored, and now the case is, Supreme Court is going to look after this case. Supreme Court to hear petition on Delhi violence tomorrow. So let's hope that justice is delivered as soon as possible. And Delhi Court defers hanging of 4 Nirbhaya case convicts. It's stretching, isn't it? Note for Wi-Fi on planes. Now you'd be able to use Wi-Fi if a pilot permits, and you have to pay for it, of course. But this is a good facility. Bhagel, who is the Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh, he has written to Prime Minister, and he has expressed his concerns about this using CRPF in IT raid. Hackers have access to your smartphone. Prime Minister hints at quitting social media. India monitoring impact of US Taliban deal, has been said by External Affairs Minister. Access to internet is not negotiable, has been said by Law Minister. And it's a very sad picture that schools were destroyed in this Delhi violence. And that's basically everything in today's discussion, dear friends. So thank you very much for watching this video. God bless you all. Jai Hind.